All right. Connected. October 12th, 2015, Monday. Got 11 days before we die, horribly. Shinjo looked up at the huge white building and sighed loudly. AH Tokyo General Hospital. After Cruz's report, he decided to visit it himself. It was almost midnight. Visiting hours were long over and he didn't have an official warrant. He was here entirely of his own volition. But as he saw it, he was never getting a warrant the usual way, so this was his only shot. Normally, he wanted to slowly, painstakingly build up a case, but it seemed to him that searching this hospital was so important that there just wasn't time to spare.
久野里美代の話が本当であることをまず確かめる。そうすれば令状なんていくらでも出るようになるはずだ。
Damn, so this guy's working like off the clock? He's not getting paid to do this? Practically a charity worker. First, I need to see if what Kunosato Mio said is true. If I can do that, I should be able to get as many warrants as I want. Give me a second. Okay. After his own investigations, he found that something strange had started happening here in 2007, 2 years before the earthquake. At the time, there's a treatment facility in Shibuya called the Heart Medical Association that was involved with some kind of cult. On the surface, it was a mental health clinic staffed with talented doctors from university hospitals. There's no way to know what they'd actually been doing, but evidently some people had suspected that they were brainwashing troubled patients. But suddenly, the facility was reborn as a hospital with a non-profit assisted living facility, and all the doctors at Heart Medical had fired were rehired at AH Tokyo General Hospital. And then 6 years ago, there was the New Generation Madness, the fifth victim in this case, Takashina Fumio, the victim of the so-called numbskull case who'd been kept alive for a week after his brain was removed, had worked at AH Tokyo General Hospital.
一体なんだこの気味の悪い符号は。
What's with all these creepy coincidences? There's too much that seems suspicious.
こういう時先輩ならどうする？
What would he have done at a time like this? Oh, is Shinjo like friends with Bon? And then after Bon got killed, Shinjo decided to join this place? And then he shook his head. Do it your own way. That's what he would have said. Either way, Shinjo knew that if he could get proof of what was in this facility's basement, the case would take a whole different turn. Maybe he's trying to finish what Bond couldn't. Even if there was something big lurking in the shadows behind this case, if he presented incontrovertible proof, the police would have no choice but to act. It wasn't just about the facility after all. There were a lot of people involved too. The lives and dignity of the victims who turned into test subjects also mattered.
人体実験か。胸くその悪い話だ。
Experimenting on humans, huh? Disgusting. Every year, almost 100 people went missing. Some of them had been forced into these experiments, so that was a big problem.
それじゃあ一つ行きますか。
Okay, let's get this over with. His voice was somehow relaxed yet driven as he headed into the hospital. He'd learned and memorized locations of the facility from Kunosato. He snuck in from the ER loading zone and headed to the basement. Did he have the code? Oh, he has a key, right? The temperature there was clearly different from the areas above. And then he went to the autopsy room.
確かここに地下への入り口があると。
If I remember right, this is where the entrance is. If you open the breaker box and saw the card reader inside, something tells me he's not going to be as successful this time.
こいつか。
So this is it. He held out the card key that Kunosato had given him. And he heard the sound of an opening door.
なるほどね。こりゃ尋常じゃないな。
I see. So something big's happening here. There was a hidden staircase in the back of the autopsy room. A part of him hadn't believed it until he'd seen it for himself, but now he was essentially sure. A normal hospital wouldn't need something like this. Shinjo stopped for a moment to take a breath, then headed down the stairs. There was an old hallway at the bottom. It smelled like mold and dust. When he turned on his pen light, he saw that it was an old facility and the walls were falling apart.
でも間違いなくここは使われている。
But this place is still being used. If no one visits a building, it rots away. Unless someone uses it every day, it won't last long. But this place was different. It was old, but he was nearly certain someone was using it.
確かこの先だと言ってたな。
I think she said it's up this way. Shinjo followed the directions that Kunosato had given him as he headed towards his goal. His first stop was a monitoring room, which would have critical information on the facility. He wanted the data on the computer there. And then he wanted to find the room where the victims of the experiments were being kept. I assume he's not a gigalomaniac if he hasn't been disturbed by the sumo stickers. He turned down many corridors as he headed for his destination. The cell-like rooms he saw on his way concerned him, but they could wait until later. Right now, his biggest job was to get the evidence he needed.
ここか。
I wonder if he's gonna run into wheel baby carriage woman. This must be the place. Shinjo finally found the spot he was looking for. He used his card key to unlock the door. Then he swallowed and put his hand on the doorknob. When he got inside, he saw... Damn it. He quickly ran to the other room. The prison where Yamazoe Uki kept the test subjects.
冗談じゃない。まさかまさか。
You're kidding me. This can't be. It can't be. He quickly found the room and flung open the door. And then he stood still in astonishment. There was... nothing there? They had vacated everything? No victims, no beds. None of the things that Kunosato had told him about. Is this a delusion? The monitoring room had been empty too. There were no security cameras, no computers. Nothing at all. All that remained was the simple fact that there was nothing left at all. Hey Miyashiro, you're going to the club today, right?
もちろん、今日はいろいろと事件について整理したいんだ。
Of course, I want to go over a lot of things with the case.
じゃ、行こうぜ。
Okay, let's go.
あ、悪いけど先行っててくれ。
I'm sorry, go on ahead without me.
なんだ、用でもあんのか？
What, you got something to do?
用ってか、今日掃除当番。
Well, I'm on cleaning duty today. I point to the other students who are moving the desks and sweeping the floors.
ああ。しかしなんで生徒に掃除とかさせるんだろうな。
Yeah, but you know, why did they make the students do the cleaning?
確かにな。そもそも生徒が学校を掃除するなんて習慣があるのは日本を含めわずかな国だけで。
You said it. It's only a few countries, including Japan, that make their students do the cleaning.
ああ、ストップ。一席ぶたなくていいから。じゃ、後でな。
I imagine if the students do the cleaning, then They don't hire like cleaning people, so your taxes are marginally lower, or at least that won't be an expense. Oh, stop. I don't need to hear it. Okay, see you later.
あったく
Sheesh. Time to get this finished and head to the club room. Saw a scrap of paper lying on the floor next to the garbage bin. Someone had probably tried to throw it in the wastebasket and missed, then left it there. I really wish they'd think about the people that had to do the cleaning before they did that. I took a quick look around. There was another student named Tanaka-san right nearby who was mopping up the floor. Fortunately, there's no one else around. Okay, let's try this. I visualized a scrap of paper lifting off the ground. This is more difficult than you'd think. If you lost your concentration for even a moment, it wouldn't work. Well, can I do it? I took the scene I'd imagined and tried to strike Tanaka-san with it. And then?
Yes.
The scrap of hair floated upward just like I'd imagined, and then it floated into the garbage can.
Nice.
I did a little victory pose.
あれ
Tanaka Misaki? Tanaka-san was looking around in surprise. She looked at me a little afraid.
ねえ宮代くん
Hey, Miyashiro-kun.
あ、はい。なんですか
Yes, what is it?
今さなんか紙くずがね勝手にゴミ箱に
Did I just see a piece of paper move into the garbage can on its own?
はあ。
手も触れてないのにゴミ箱に入ったっていうかね
Like, went in without anybody touching it.
まさか何かの見間違いじゃないですか
Huh? No way, you must have been mistaken.
あうんそうだよね
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Still, she stared at the garbage can unsatisfied.
ゴミ捨ててきたいんですけどいいですか
I'd like to throw out the garbage. Is that okay?
うんごめんね
Yeah, sorry. I took the garbage can out into the hallway. More. I want to use this power more. Chapter 7. Their Resistance 2. It's time for the eroding past? Is that really the time to be starting a new chapter? Okay, well, I gotta save. Gotta make sure I have this. Bam. Everybody here? It had already been 3 days since Aramura and I had been attacked by the pyrokinetic. We'd been worried that she might attack us again, but until now nothing had happened. Thanks to that, we finally calmed down. Today, I was feeling good enough to revisit what we knew about the case.
まず話を始める前に紹介
First, before we get started, let me introduce you to...
チャオスいつもニコニコ笑顔が一番有村ひなえですこれからよろしくね
Ciao, I'm Aramura Hinaya, and I'm always smiling. It's so nice to meet you all. The energy.
こちらこそよろしくパチパチパチ
Nice to meet you too. Clap, clap, clap. It was still hard to keep up with the way her mood seemed to change all the time. Circa was applauding, but no one else was. Katsuki was playing ESO2 or some other game like she always did. She turned around to take one look at Aramura, then went back to her computer screen.
有村は別に新聞部に入るわけじゃなくあくまで協力してくれるということで
Aramura isn't actually joining the newspaper club, she's just helping us.
一応所属は文芸部なんで、でもまあ固いことは抜きにして、とりあえず来れる時は顔出すってことで、どうか一つ。
I'm in the lit club actually, but there's no need to sweat the details. I'll be coming by as much as I can. For what it was worth, I'd already told all newspaper club members about Aramura's power.
ねえねえひなちゃん、ちょっと聞いていい？
Hey, Hina-chan, can I ask you something?
いいよ。あ、でも3サイズは乙女の秘密。
Sure. Oh, but my measurements are made in secret.
有村の3サイズは別にな。
I don't really know if I care about Aramura's measurements.
おいこらてめえ貴様。
The hell did you just say, asshole? And then her mood changed again.
ひなちゃんってさ、どれが本当なの？明るかったり、真面目だったり、怖かったり。
Which is a real you, Hina-chan. Sometimes you're cheerful, and sometimes you're serious, and sometimes you're scared.
そうだな。
You're telling
どれ
me
だと思う？
you're telling me people can display more than one emotion? That's fucking crazy. Well, which do you think it is?
やだな。そこまで真剣に考え込まれてもな。
Oh, come on, you don't have to think about that hard.
ただね、一つ言えるとしたらさ、嘘か本当か分かっちゃうっていうのはセリが思ってる以上にずっと大変だってこと。こうやってふざけてないとやってらんないくらいにね。
What I can tell you is that knowing when somebody's telling the truth is a lot harder than you think, Sari. If you don't mess around a little, you can't survive. Circa seems lost in thought, as if she didn't really understand. I don't understand either.
そうそう、そこのあなた。
To be fair, she does have to interact with Shinjo and Momose and Mio all the time. So I guess for her, you kind of do have to weasel your way out of some details. Oh, right, you. Kazuki jumped a little.
ねえねえ彼女、君さ1年だよね。
Hey, you, you're a first year, right?
あーごめん。できれば口に出して言ってもらえるかな。
Oh, sorry, can you say that out loud for me?
ああ、ひなちゃん、ダメだよ。はなちゃんは喋らないから。
Oh, Hina-chan, don't ask her that. Hana-chan doesn't talk.
え？そうなの？
Huh? She doesn't? You can just not do that?
ふーん、それって喋れないってこと？
I guess Aramura's powers are useless against Hana. Do you mean she can't talk?
いや、そういうわけじゃないはずなんだけど、とにかく喋りたがらねえんだよ。
No, I don't think that's the case. She just really doesn't want to.
だから俺たちもまだ一回も和樹の喋ってるとこ聞いたことなかったりしてな。
I've never actually seen her talk.
へえ、そうなんだ。
Huh, I see. Aramura stared at Kazuki's face.
オッケーオッケー。和樹はなちゃんでいいんだよね。ってことははなでオッケー？
Right, so can I call you Hana?
じゃあはな、これからよろしく。
Okay, Okay, Hana, nice to meet you. I thought Aramura might have found it difficult to get along with Kazuki, but maybe I was wrong. Since Kazuki didn't talk, it might actually be easier for Aramura since she didn't have to worry about knowing if she was lying.
それじゃあ早速始めるか。
Okay, let's get started.
待ってくれ。その前にもう一つ言っておかなきゃいけない。実はクルスが。
Wait, before that, there's something I have to tell you. Kurisu is...
遅れちゃってごめんなさい。
Sorry, I'm late. Kurisu opened the door and came inside. Her injury had healed, and Dad told her that it was okay for her to move around, so she'd come back to school today.
副部長。
What? Wait, what happened to the club being temporarily closed because of... her getting stabbed, and on the condition that it would eventually be reopened if he did the interview with Watabe, which didn't happen. God, Vice President.
もう話始まってる？
Have you started already?
あ、いや、俺たちは別に例の事件についての話とかこれっぽっちも。
Nope, we definitely haven't been talking about the case, no siree.
いいんだ、伊藤。
It's okay, Yuto.
あ？
クルスも一緒に事件の解明をしてくれることになった。
Caruso's gonna help us solve the case.
え、そうなのか？
Huh? She is?
ええ。みんなの目付け役ってところね。
Yes, I guess you could say it's my job to keep an eye on you. Caruso glanced at me for just a moment, worried. But it was only for a moment that she went back to normal.
とにかくこれまでの事件について意見を聞かせてもらうわ。少しでもおかしなところがあれば遠慮なく指摘するからそのつもりで。
Anyway, let me hear your opinions on the case thus far. If there's anything that's even a little off, I'll gladly point it out. Are you gonna lie to us? But you can't lie, because Aramura will be able to tell. But how does Aramura's thing work if nobody knows what the truth is? Unless she does, in which case Aramura's power would work. If she was indeed trying to sabotage us. The meek attitude she had when she was hurt was gone, and now she was back to her usual self. Ito's shoulders slumped, but at the same time he looked a little happy. She was always obnoxious and at times a little annoying, but this is the way everyone wanted Caruso to be.
じゃあ全員揃ったところでミーティングを始めようと思うんだけど、先に一つ見ておいてほしいものがあるんだ。
Okay, now that everyone's here, I'd like to start the meeting, but first, there's something I want to show you all.
あ、なんだ？
What's that?
まだ尾上とクルスにしかちゃんと見せてない。成功率も 100% じゃないから失敗するかもしれないけど。
I've only shown this to Onoe and Caruso so far. It doesn't work 100% of the time, so it might fail, but... Your DI sword? Ito, Kazuki, and Aramura looked at me in confusion. I nodded and grabbed a pen, then put it on the table. I tried my best to focus, and then just like the scrap of paper earlier, I imagined the pen moving. Here's the hard part. Can I do it? As I focused as hard as I could, I saw it slowly appear in the corner of my eye. Okay. There it is. Now all that was left was to imagine my delusion infecting everyone else. Next moment, the pen started to jerk upward. The three of them raised their voices in surprise as the pen slowly moved upward. When I stopped imagining the floating pen, my D-sword disappeared from my field of vision and the pen slammed back down on the table.
おい、宮代、すげえよ。
Wow, Miyashiro, that's incredible!
言った通りまだ完璧じゃないんだけど。
Just like I said, I haven't mastered it yet, but...
いつの間にできるようになったんです？
When did you learn to do that?
尾上に協力してもらっていろいろとやってみたんだ。
Onoe helped me try a bunch of different things. Ito gasped in amazement. When the pyrokinetic attacked me, I was forced to accept that I really was a psychic. After that, I decided to master my power instead of running away from it, and I'd gone through a lot of trial and error to do so. At first, I tried to do it on my own, but that didn't go well. And then I remembered what Kunosato-san had said. She said that a gigglomaniac could only reboot something by transmitting their delusions into the dead spots of another's brain to create what she called a shared reality, which meant that if I didn't have someone to share my delusion with, it would never work. So when I started practicing with Serica, things began to go much better.
でも先輩、言っておきますけど、そういうのいい気になって使ったりするとろくなことになりませんからね。
But Senpai, you know, if you start using that power for fun, nothing good's gonna come of it, right?
有村さんの言う通りよ。
Armor-san's right.
そのくらい分かってるよ。これは僕やみんなの身を守るためにやってるんだ。
I know that I'm just doing this to protect everyone.
ふーん。だったらいいんですけど。
I hope so. I was telling the truth. I managed to turn back the pyrokinetic flame at the last second. That was the only reason we survived. But that was just a fluke born out of desperation. If she was going to come after me again, I need to master my power. That's why I decided to practice like this.
だけどさ、なんでだろうね。
But you know, it's weird. Suddenly Circa frowned. She was fiddling with her Garofroggy strap like she always did when she was thinking about something.
なんでだろうって、何がだ？
What's weird?
相変わらずいきなりね、セリカは。あなたの頭の中では話がつながってるのかもしれないけど。
You know, Serica, you may be able to make sense of what you're saying inside your own head, but the rest of us can't.
ごめんごめん。そのね、ほら、ひなちゃんは相手の話が嘘か本当かわかるんでしょ？で、タクは物が動かせる。
Oh, sorry. Well, Hina-chan can tell if someone's telling the truth, right? And Taku can move objects?
人によって使える力に違いがあるのはなんでかなって。
I was just wondering why everybody has different powers. I also wondered that. I never thought about that before, but she had a point. Why different people have different powers? Kusato-san hadn't said anything about that.
つうかさ、そもそもその能力自体いつからお前らに備わってたんだろうな。生まれつきか？
Maybe everyone is capable of having the same power, but powers tend to reflect like a person's character. Maybe like Hinaye is worried what people think about her, or always something like that. Always is worried about being deceived, so that's why she's able to tell the truth. Maybe the pyrokinetic woman just wants destruction and has the fire of the flame of hatred in her heart, so she's able to shoot flames. And then Taku, I don't know, he has telekinesis because, I guess. And another thing, when did you get this power? Were you born with it? That was another thing I've been wondering about.
宮代、お前はどうなんだ？
What about you, Miyashiro?
少なくとも僕自身はここ最近まで自分にそんな能力があることを自覚してなかった。だから正直わからない。
I didn't even know I had this power until a very short time ago, so honestly, I don't know.
そんじゃあ有村は？
What about you, Aramura?
私は多分渋谷地震の後ですかね。あれ以降急に人の言葉の嘘が分かるようになったっていうか。
I think mine came to me after the Shibuya earthquake, and after that, I could just tell when people were lying. Right after the Shibuya earthquake?
ってことはあの地震に何か関係があるのか？
Doesn't that mean the earthquake is involved somehow? I'd have to look into that eventually. I mean, sure, Kunosato Mio knows how it works, right? There's no way she doesn't. Just ask her. I'd have to look into that eventually.
あと今のセリの疑問、どうして人によって能力が違うのかって話だけど、それについてはなんとなく思ってることがあって。
Also, as for Sari's question, why different people have different powers, I have an idea about that.
何何？
What is it?
多分願望なんじゃないかなと。
I think it's because of a wish they made.
願望？
A wish?
そうです。私地震の時にちょっぴりそう思うことがありまして、で気づいたらこんな感じになってたっていうか。
Yep, I had a little itty bitty thought during the earthquake, and the next thing I knew, I was like this.
そう思うことって？
What do you think about?
やだな。だから本当のことか知りたいって話。言わせないでよ、恥ずかしい。
Oh, right. Come on, I want to know the truth. Don't make me spell it out. It's embarrassing. Right, she wrote that in her thing. Let the truth be found. Ah, I didn't make that connection until they spelled it out for me. Okay. I think the pyrokinetic woman's is self-explanatory. I was on the mark about that. Like, probably burn everything, whatever. What could Taku's be? Telekinesis. I want to move something? Like, what?
いや別に照れるとこじゃねえだろ。
No, that doesn't really sound embarrassing.
そもそも本当のことが知りたいなんて一体何があったんだよ。
And what do you mean you want to know the truth? What happened?
やだ先輩、やらしい。
Jeez, senpai, you're such a nosy pervert.
なんでそうなる？
What?
そういうのは痛いけな乙女の秘密なんですよ。だから聞いちゃダメ。
Called a maiden secret, so no more questions. None. When Armura was like this, I knew I wasn't going to get anything out of her.
とにかく一旦これまでのことを整理してみようか。
Anyway, let's go over what's happened so far.
ニュージェネの狂気の再来事件。その被害者には明らかに共通するポイントがあったよな。
All the victims in the Return to the New Gen Madness cases have one thing in common.
っていうと、あれだね。
You know what that is, right?
そう。
Yep.
前にも推測した通り、全員何らかの能力者だということだ。
Just like I guessed before, they were all psychics.
最初の事件、こっちみんな。被害者とその特徴は、
The first victim in the Don't Look case. So, wait, hold on. Did Watabe get his power from simply saying, I want a photo of the sumo sticker? Like, that's kind of crazy. And I guess the TIL, I can predict the future or whatever, was like, I want to win this lotto or whatever. This lottery. First victim in the Don't Look case. Put those who heard her music in a trance as famous for being able to predict the future, was able to read the client's minds.
そう。多分予知能力があったってことだ。
But the all... Okay, yeah. Yes, you could probably see the future.
次は音漏れ炭。被害者とその特徴は、
I also think that like 3 out of 4 of them were micro celebrities. So I think that's interesting. Kakito's the only one that was like he was still successful at his job, so I think that's also something we should be paying attention to. Next, the audio bleed victim, she...
トランスっていうと、歌を聴いた人の気持ちがうわーって気持ちよくなることかな。
Trance, you mean like anybody listening to her felt really good?
まあ、そんなようなものですかね。
Yeah, probably something like that.
つまり相手の感情を歌で誘導できたってことだな。
In other words, she was able to control how people felt with her music.
で、僕たちが目撃した回転デッド。被害者とその特徴は、
Next, the victim in the revolving dead case, he...
多分柿田って人はテレパシーを持っていたんだ。
I think this Kakita guy was a telepath.
ええ、その通りです。私にはそう言ってました。
Yes, that's right. That's what he told me.
そして学園祭で起きたごっつぁんです。被害者とその特徴は、
Yes, that's right. That's what he told me. Oh, is that why she was at the scene? Are we just gonna skip over that? Like, that's a pretty big explanation of why she was there. And that's for the victim in the Sue morbidly obese case. Was able to get scoops with psychic powers.
そう。渡部が有名になったスクープ写真は、すべてありえない角度や場所から撮られているものばかりだった。多分念写だったんだろう。
That's right, all Watabe's famous scoops are taken from angles and places that should have been impossible to photograph. He was probably using psychic photography.
やっぱり私が言った通りですよ。どの能力者も願望が入ってる気しませんか？
So it's just like what I said. Don't you feel all these powers have some kind of wish involved?
願望か。
A wish, huh?
こっちみんなの大谷はもともとニコニア動画で生放送していて、
Otani, the victim of the Don't Look case, was a Nico-Nia streamer that succeeded in business, became a popular vocalist, became a popular net reporter, and was able to become famous. So just wanting to become famous? Like, I don't know.
音漏れたんの高柳は新庄さんの話だと確か
From what Shinjo-san said about Taka Yanagi, the girl in the audio bleed case, she became a popular vocalist. Is that the wish? To become a popular vocalist or to make people feel good with her music?
回転デッドの柿田さんは僕たちじゃわからないな。有村は何か知ってるか？
Kakuta-san, for the revolving dead case, him? I don't know. Armora, do you know anything?
そういう話はあんまりしませんでした。けど仕事でいつも裏切りとか騙し合いとかあったみたいで。
He didn't talk about much. I guess there was a lot of backstabbing in his
で
job.
も能力を持ってからはその心配もなくなったって。
But once he got his power, he didn't have to worry about that anymore. Succeeded in business.
そしてごっつぁんですの渡部か。
And as for Watabe from the submorbidly obese case, became a popular net reporter.
なるほどな。こうしてみると確かに有村の言う通りかもしれない。
I see, looking at it like this, you may be right.
つまり願望がその人の能力に影響してるっていうことね。
Give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to end the stream there. Thanks for watching. It was a shorter one.